Woo Pig Suey. The Arkansas Razorbacks are 2024 Liberty Bowl champions as they take down the Texas Tech Red Raiders by a final score of 39-26. We are reacting to Arkansas's Liberty Bowl win. Guys, I am Chris Phillips. He is Dave Shumate. And, of course, we are SEC Unfiltered. Make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast where you get your podcast. You can also find us across all social media platforms as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. This segment brought to you by our friends over at Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com, use promo code SECU and sign up to get $50 instantly when you play your first $5 or more lineup. That's prizepicks.com, promo code SECU to get your $50 bonus today. It was an up and down season for the Arkansas Razorbacks in 2024, but it's one that ends with a win in Memphis, Tennessee, as the Hogs win the AutoZone Liberty Bowl over the Texas Tech Red Raiders by a final score of 39-26. We are here breaking down this game, reacting to everything that took place in Memphis. I am Chris Phillips. Helping me do so, my good friend Dave Shumate joins me once again. Dave, what's going on, man? I appreciate you taking the time and excited to talk some Woo Pig Suey and the job they did down in Memphis.
I mean, you were talking a little off air, CP. I don't think bowl games carry as much positive momentum into the offseason like they used to. I mean, I could be wrong, but there used to be that wild stat, I think, for about 10, 12 years, similar to like the college basketball AP poll, where it used to be or the week 6 AP poll in college basketball, where it used to be if you finished with a winning, if you won your, I think it's 12 years in a row, the national champion the next year won their bowl game the prior year. So it was a big deal. Again, you had 75% of your roster back. It doesn't carry as much, or it doesn't matter as much as it used to. I think for this perfect situation for Arkansas, it does. I think they needed some of this positive momentum coming in. Does this change the fact that they have a lot to replace in 25? No. Does it change the fact the schedule is probably even harder next year with Notre Dame coming in? No. Going to Knoxville, going to Austin, going to Baton Rouge, and going to Oxford? No. But it makes the taste of the offseason feel a little better, or taste a little better, I should say.
You know, the other reason too, Dave, to your point, because it was Steve Spurrier that said this back in the day, and I still think this is true for the most part. I think that with the portal and NIL and opt-outs and, I think the sting of losing is maybe that blow is lessened because it's very easy to defer and say, well, the games don't really matter. Who cares? But I do still think winning, Steve Spurrier said everything is better when you win your bowl game, right? Like workouts are better, spring ball is better, the hype and optimism going in the next season is better. So to your point, I think Arkansas winning this football game, and it starts too, Dave, with the fact you've got Taylon Green and Bobby Petrino back year 2 together next year in Fayetteville. When you look at the performance he put together, 11 of 21, 341 yards. The big play was the story of the night for Arkansas, right? Which, we were obviously joking, and it wasn't really a joking matter. Texas Tech scored 16 points in that second quarter, made it a really close ball game. We all thought to ourselves, we've seen this movie before when it comes to the Hogs, but they pull away in the second half. They're able to put the final nail in the Red Raiders' coffin, if you will. But, Dave, you got to be excited about what you saw with Taylon Green. Who could have predicted that Desmond James, his first career catch, as a freshman, his first ever reception is a 94-yard touchdown. But you got Taylon Green and Bobby P back, man. And Bobby P was in his bag tonight, over 500 yards of offense for the Razorbacks. Taylon Green rushes for another 81 yards in the night and a touchdown. So I think when you're talking about optimism, Dave, sure, winning the game's a big deal. But I think how you won and the fact that duo of Taylon Green, Bobby Petrino, they're going to be back in 2025. That's where I think the optimism looking way too far ahead has to start for the Hogs going into next year.
No, I agree. You build this whole team around Taylon Green. Got to go get him some more weapons outside of just Omega Blake, who they brought in from Charlotte. They're replacing 4 guys on the offensive line. There's some holes to go fill. I think they got to spend money. They can be. I don't think they can be as scared about spending money. They got to go get the weapons for Taylon Green. But you're right, 100% right, Chris. You do have a foundational piece at the most important position in the sport and probably in all of sports, the quarterback position. You feel good about it. He just won the Liberty Bowl MVP. That's something to go build upon. So, I mean, again, not all bad. You have some holes to fix in the secondary. I think we've been saying that for years at Arkansas, similar to how every year, we talk about South Carolina's offensive line. I feel like we're always talking about Arkansas's secondary. That would be something. Again, it's probably easier to name what holes they don't have to fill, just like a lot of teams. But you're right. They do have a good starting piece heading into 25 in Taylor Green.
And I mean, you think about Taylor Green too, Dave. We talked about it earlier when we were breaking down the Vanderbilt win over Georgia Tech. I mean, I think Taylor Green, you could make the argument Taylor Green's a top 5 quarterback in the SEC coming into 2025. So again, when you've got that kind of guy who showed the flashes, I mean, the biggest thing for him will be the consistency going into next year. But tonight was another reminder that when Taylor Green is on, I mean, when Taylor Green is on, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the conference. There's no doubt. He's got the ability. You see why Bobby Petrino, sought after him at different stops in his career. The skill set we've talked about all year long. Anyways, again, Taylor Green was the star. He wins the MVP. Rodney Hill had 8 carries for 81 yards. How about Braylon Russell, Dave, who entered the portal, got out of the portal, entered the portal, got out of the portal again. He plays in the game. 20 carries for Braylon Russell. So you talk about how big of a deal it was that he decided to stick around and stick around Fayetteville and play. Had a rushing touchdown as well. Yeah, and then Isaac Tesla, another big one, 3 catches, 107. I mean, the offense was just humming, man. And you saw, too, I thought, with Texas Tech, their backup quarterback, Will Hammond, 20 of 34, 280. I thought he played, I mean, about as well as he probably could for a guy you're asking to step in that spot. But a really tough spot. You could see, I mean, some of the interceptions. He had 2 picks tonight. The offense was sort of out of sync there. And that's just one of the realities of when you're in bowl season and you don't have your normal guys, you're going to get some unexpected results. So, yeah, I mean, I think, listen, I think I'm really happy for the folks. We were talking about this off air. Happy for the folks in Fayetteville, that were so good to us and that, we obviously have friends at Arkansas that, we understand. And Arkansas faithful, too, man. Like when I went down there and, talking to them, it's the football program's in an interesting place. And I don't think winning the Liberty Bowl, Dave, necessarily like fixes all of it. But at least if you're a fan of the Hogs, you've got something to feel good about tonight. And, that just wasn't always the case, right? Like Arkansas, I mean, I think, Dave, correct me if I'm wrong, if you would have told anyone in the preseason Arkansas is going to go to a bowl game and win the bowl game, they probably would have called that a successful year, all things considered. So,
yeah. No, it's like you said, the defense after the Tennessee game kind of was high and low. And again, we talked about it. The teams they played in November, those offenses, Missouri, granted, it was like
Texas.
A blizzard. Texas, Ole Miss. You're right. They were probably going to take their lumps because their depth was going to be hit at that point. To your point, Texas Tech went on a 16-0 run, 10.5. You were kind of like, oh, gosh, here comes the defense. Can't make a stop. They only gave up 1 touchdown in the second half. So a good adjustment there by Travis Williams. Again, Arkansas is going to go make their money for the 2025 season starting right now. They go meet as a staff, kind of figure out who's leaving now. Officially, the bowl game's coming in, who they need to go bring in. They did some of that here in the front end, but they're going to have to go plug some holes, probably not only to finish out before February, but also in the spring portal as well.
Yeah, I think they're going to have to because I think this portal actually closes tomorrow, Saturday, December the 28th, so they'll have to be active in the spring portal as well because, to your point, all the things to be optimistic about, they've got probably about as many holes as anybody they're going to have to plug and replace. And but again, for a night, you get to be excited. You get to have hope and optimism. And I kind of joked around and said that for Christmas, Arkansas was looking for a reason for optimism. I mean, maybe this gives you one because, again, it was the story of the night, like I said. And I don't know that you got to go out and play defense and, you're not going to get that Taylor Green every week and you're not going to, put up 40 a game or 40 every week. But you saw, I think, Dave, the potential. And I think that's the thing now that going into, and again, not all bowl games are equal for all teams, but I think you hit the nail on the head. This is a really, really big deal from the standpoint of if you're Arkansas, we're really at the point with Arkansas football, Dave, with Sam Pittman coming back, where you're kind of searching for reasons to be fired up and excited. And I mean, I think if you're looking at 2025 and you're saying, why could 2025 be different? Why could Arkansas win 8 games, 9 games? Not saying it's going to happen, but if you're looking for a reason of optimism, I don't care who's playing or who wasn't, you're going to look at a game like that Liberty Bowl performance from Taylor Green and say, well, if we get this guy for 12 games, I mean, you never know what could happen. So that's kind of the thing you've got to cling to if you're the Hogs. Again, he was great tonight, over 400 total yards of offense. And certainly they got to go out there and get him some supporting cast pieces and pieces to help. I think Braylon Russell, assuming he's going to stick around and not enter the portal, is going to be a really, really fine tailback in Fayetteville. I mean, he was really good at times. I kind of saw him burst on the scene that game against Tennessee where that last drive there where Malachi Singleton went down there and scored. And, again, you see him tonight, man, 20 carries for 50 yards. It's a lot of value in having a guy like that. Just ask Tennessee with Dylan Sampson. So they've got some pieces. They've got some pieces. You saw that tonight. They've got some pieces. And good for the Hogs, Dave. We're happy for the Hogs here. We are. We're happy for the Hogs. Happy to see them be happy finally. So,
CP, what's your thoughts? Do you buy into the concept that you see kind of a mid-tier SEC team go out there and kind of beat the like 4th, 5th ranked team in the Big 12? Or you kind of just take it? I mean, again, Texas Tech beat Arizona State. I mean, you can make the case.
Yeah, I mean, it's a different. I do try to. I mean, listen, it obviously looks good for the league. It feels good for the league. But, I mean, this is a different Texas Tech team. Again, they didn't have their starting quarterback. Yeah, I mean, it just – there's so many –
You take bowl season, you get fired up about – again, celebrate it, Arkansas fans. You should. The team should, again – there's certain teams that can't –
Go buy your Liberty Bowl merch, man. Go buy your Liberty Bowl champion merch.
Yeah, go get your championship shirt, your material as you're leaving the Liberty Bowl tonight, Arkansas fans. If you're listening to us in the stadium, no, you're right there, CP. It's just – it's tough to take. Again, two things can be true at once. Like, yeah, man, there's something to build off of, but like, let's don't start comparing teams' regular seasons to what they did in one bowl game on December 27th, where everybody's all over the place.
I mean, the game, again, Dave, the game was kind of a microcosm of what Arkansas was in the 2024 season, where at any point they could go off and they could go beat a Tennessee or potentially pull an upset. But, at their worst, they go on a 16-0. They get outscored 16-0, and you feel like they're going to blow it. I know Arkansas fans are sitting here saying, here we go again. And that was kind of them, man. I mean, you and I were talking, just joking off air, but it's serious. Like, there probably isn't a team at this moment under Sam Pittman that I trust less than the Arkansas Razorbacks, just because they're volatile. That's the best way to put them. They are volatile. This program right now is very volatile. That's the thing. If I could pick one thing that Arkansas most desperately needs to improve on going into 2025, can they be more consistent? They just got to be more consistent, because when they're good, they're really good. But when they're bad with style. They're hot.
They got a decent floor, decently high floor, but like you said, the ceiling. We saw that in the Oklahoma State game, week 2? Like, just come out there up 24-3, controlling the game. Looks like they may go run away with it. Bus trip back to Fayetteville from Stillwater is going to be awesome. And, you just totally crapped the bed in the second half, and it wasn't good on either side of the football. Taylor Green has turnovers. The defense can't get us up. It was on that road. It looked like me and you were texting at halftime. We were talking at halftime. We were like, dude, I had a feeling Arkansas was going to allow them to come back. But give them credit, man. Whatever happened in the second half, they came out and put their foot down and locked it down in the second half. So you got to give Sam Pittman and Travis Williams and them all the credit in the world for that.
Yeah, I think when this season, Dave, when Arkansas fans will look back on the season, it will be, again, with the schedule you had, if you told anybody before the season, hey, you're going to go 7-6, you're going to win a bowl game, I think most would have been like, yeah, that sounds good. And, Sam should be back next year. And I think it's because of the way that it happened that, I think Hog fans are just sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know what I mean? It's just, they're just doing the same thing. It feels like over and over. But this season's kind of what could have been, man. I mean, 2 overtime loss to Okie State. Probably should have won that game. You lost 21-17 to Texas A&M. All right, that one went down to the wire. You had Texas on the ropes. Lost 20-10 in that game at home. You lose to Missouri again, 28-21 in that blizzard. So, couple results here and there, man. And I mean,
CP, what are you giving the Razorback season? Letter plus minus system.
Yeah, grading their season, I'd probably give them probably go like C+.
I'm gonna go B-.
Yeah, so I'd be right at that C+, B-. I'd be right in that range. So, because it was a all things considered, preseason expectations taken into account, difficulty of schedule, personnel.
November was hard.
It was a slightly better than average year. It was. I mean, it was a slightly better than average year. It wasn't a great
Probably
year.
could have had the Oklahoma State game.
Yeah.
They could have had that game.
Yeah.
A&M, it was close in the fourth, but I mean, let's give A&M the win there. I don't think any other game they could have had. It's really it. I mean, they were a 7-5, 6-6 team this year. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just it is. I'm with you. B-, C+ is fair with them. I think this year.
Yeah. But again, the bottom line is this, Dave. The season ends with a win in Memphis, Tennessee, 39-26, taking down Texas Tech in the Liberty Bowl, and again, giving the Hogs some momentum. And I take you this too, Dave, in closing. Don't make too much. Don't overreact, like you said, to winning the Liberty Bowl. But, hey, after not going to a bowl last year, again, Hog fans, I'm sure this one feels pretty good, as it should. Congratulations to Arkansas. Congratulations to Sam Pittman. And congratulations to all the Hogs fans out there. You are Liberty Bowl champions. So, again, let us know your thoughts. Let us know your reactions. How do you feel Arkansas beating Texas Tech 39-26 in Memphis? Guys, that's going to do all for us. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. Again, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on notifications. Check us out via podcast, wherever you get your podcast. You can also find us on all social media platforms as well as our website, secunfiltered.com. For Dave Shumate, I'm Chris Phillips. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will catch you on the other side.